Hello, hello, test, test, test. Okay, awesome. Seems the audio is working. And we are live. Very nice. Let's have a look. I can see here the chat room on my laptop. Yeah, everything looks in order. So welcome everybody to my live stream in which I will be drawing, coloring my Han Solo and Chewie artwork that I did last week. Yeah, have not seen the movie yet, so can't really talk about it, but I've been hearing some good things about it, so that's pretty good. So yeah, I'm going to color this this artwork. I will be flattening the colors first, which means just putting all the base colors in there. Then I will be doing some shadows and some highlights. And we'll see if we can do something extra, like a background or something like that. Let's see how long that will take. So yeah, I'll just get started, and I'll be talking along the way about how I color stuff. It's well, it's not really a big deal, but it's fun to talk about it. Anyway, so let's start with Han Solo. I prefer to just do the skin tones first. And I'm going to try. I have my previews here of Han Solo and Chewbacca. I'm just going to color pick some colors of this picture and see if it works. I mean, it could also be really ugly, but as we are in Photoshop, I can easily change it to whatever color I want. So, right, let's begin. Flattening colors is the boring part of drawing for me, but on the other hand, it helps me relax a little bit because basically you can just shut off your brain and flat all the colors in one go. Now there are several techniques to do that. One is with the magic wand, which I'm using right here, and the other one is just color it in with a brush. I basically use both techniques, which works fine for me. Oh, as you can see, some of these lines remain white, which is fixable by putting the ink layer on multiply, which will make all the white areas in that layer transparent. So I will be locking my ink layer because it has happened before that I'm just in the wrong layers and I don't want to do that. So oh, see, I got some visitors. That's awesome. Welcome, you guys. If you have any questions, let me know in the chat. So this is another technique that I like to use, where I just trace the lines and then I can easily fill in the colors. So both techniques actually work pretty fast. I actually sometimes prefer this one, but I like to just practice my magic wand, as I see a lot of people online using it, so I do want to improve myself with it. And here I go, basically just filling all the colors. I do have good news for the people who've backed me on Kickstarter for my own comic, X-Maniac. The money of Kickstarter just came in, so I've placed an order with the printer. I just need to upload the files, and then the books will be printed, and I saw it will actually take about 1 week. So that's very fast, which is great. And then I will be sending about 60 packages full of comics and art prints and all kinds of cool stuff that I have lying around. But the people who have also paid for commission will have to wait a little bit because I still need to finish all the commissions. So that will take some time. Now here we have the skin of Han Solo, and I'm going to color pick his hair. I'm just looking for a base color here. And if I don't like it, I can easily change this in Photoshop. So yeah, X-Maniac comics are incoming. I'm really excited to get that book in my hands. I've been looking over the actual PDF for a couple of times now, but I still keep looking because I don't want it to have any errors. But it all looks good. All the pages are in order. The book has been proofread, which is great, and yeah, everything seems to be in order, but can't be too sure. I'm also still debating if I should print 100 books or more. I don't need much more books for the Kickstarter itself, but I do want to go to Comic-Cons and that kind of stuff and sell the books on my web store, so it might actually be a good thing to order more books. Which I don't have to order them right away. At least the order has been paid for already. I just need to upload all the files. So his eyebrows, I'll just make them a little bit darker. Okay. And his eyes, eyes are not perfectly white, but for a cartoon style, it's best just to use white because it will look really dirty really fast. I'll give his lips a bit more color, some darker color, which I will also do with his nose a little bit. In this stage, I'm also just trying out stuff. And because we're in Photoshop, we can easily change everything we want after we did it, which is great. All right, let's color his, I'm gonna visit. His shirt is a really warm, it's not white, but I think this might work. So like I said, I have not seen the movie yet. I don't go to the cinema often, so I basically usually just wait till these kinds of movies are on Netflix or any kind of streaming service for me to watch them. But I hear good things about it and I'm excited to see them. I did hear who was the surprise cameo at the end, which was a little bit odd. That why would he be in that movie? But maybe it will be more logical if you actually watch the movie. Good evening, Running Fox. Thanks for watching. Sometimes it will take me a while to actually look at the chats because especially with coloring, I tend to just keep focus on the screen. But I will try to watch the chat. And if you guys have any questions, just let me know. As usual, I'm also recording this stream on my computer. So I will be putting it on my YouTube channel tomorrow, and I'll probably make a time lapse of me coloring Han Solo and Chewie. All the timeline, all the time lapses are also on my YouTube channel, and I post them on Instagram, which works pretty well. They're pretty popular, and it's fun to watch. I compress the entire drawing to 1 minute, put some cool music under there, and you got a fun little movie to watch. Okay, this is his shirt. Now his jacket or his vest is like just normal black, but as that would be really boring to color, I'm just going to get a blue tint, which will serve as the highlight. Now I have no idea if this is going to look good, but we can easily change it. I did actually see a game trailer for the new Doom game, which looked really cool. I'm terrible at these kinds of games because you have to be fast. You have to, but I will also have a special place for Doom because it was one of the first games I played way back, and I just love the setting. I love all the monsters. And with this trailer, I saw that the protagonist, the Doom guy, or Doom Slayer, I'm not sure what his name is, he was wearing his old getup, like the classic brown grayish helmet and his cool green armor with the bare arms. So that looked pretty cool. And I did recognize some of the old classic monsters. So I'm looking forward to that. It probably won't be on the Mac, so not sure if I'll be able to actually play it. But still. I love me some Doom. Now the gun is also black-ish blue. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pick this color. And I'm going to make it a little bit brighter. Like so. And I think the gun is just one color. I'm not really sure because this picture is not really good. But let's just try it out. And this is the, like I said, this is just the boringest part of coloring, just flattening out all these parts, but it's necessary to do. There are a lot of techniques for coloring. I've tried a lot of them, but during the years I did develop my own preferences for what I like to do, and basically, especially for this kind of drawing style, just like to keep it nice and simple, really. Okay, well, this might also be good. The jacket color I'm not really happy with, so I'm going to select it, and with the hue saturation I can just change it about. Well, the color is good. Maybe if I give it a little bit more saturation, I'll make it a little bit darker. Like so. Let's see, what else does he have? He has pants, which are also black. Okay. I'm going to try to give him the same color. And if that looks too boring, I can easily change it. I think Han Solo will be the easy one to color. The fur of Chewie looks a lot more difficult. So that's going to be a fun challenge to try. would actually enjoy drawing the Doom guy. I actually drew him like some years ago. I drew the artwork of the very first Doom game, where you have the Doom Slayer battling like a dozen of the barons, or were they hell princes? Can't really remember. It's a really classic cover, and I drew like a very exaggerated cartoon version of it. And it got reposted by ID Software on their page, and it got like loads of likes. It was really fun. It was cool to draw, so I might make like an updated version of that. It is a really cool cover. I used to have a poster of it in my room with the signatures of the development team. I think it came with the Doom Ultimate Edition, which had Doom, Doom 2, and all those mods. There were so many mods. No, wait, this doesn't work. I'm going to move. Yeah, the boots are also dark. I'm just going to try out some different blues. And when I start highlighting and shading it, we will get some definition in there. It sort of trails off into nothing. Don't know why I did that, but it might look good. Or I might just cut it off in Photoshop. We're standing in the fog, like ankle deep. Alright, pants, well, it's starting to look like a hand, so I will be saving because I was drawing a commission for the X-Mania Kickstarter. I have to draw 8 people getting brutally killed by the X-Maniac, which is really cool. But I was drawing it. I was done inking. I wanted to color, then Photoshop crashed, which rarely happens, but when it does, it's pretty bad, as the files of Photoshop require a header and a footer, and if it's not saved properly and you don't have a footer, then it's bye-bye artwork. I can sort of still see a preview of the drawing I was doing, but I'm unable to retrieve it, so I need to do that again. And it was a very good reminder to regularly save your work in separate files when possible. That's why I always, well, most of the time, make like different versions of a drawing. When it happens, I can still go back to an earlier version. And this actually happened to me a long time ago when I was doing a digital paint of Army of Darkness. And I was doing really well. I was in the zone. I was drawing. I was painting. And well, halfway through, Photoshop crashed on me and the entire thing was not saved at all. Maybe like the first initial sketch. So I did like take a picture for someone, so I still have it on my phone, but I never really had the motivation again to redo it because I don't like redoing artwork. I'd rather just work on new stuff. As you can see, I am color picking the colors from the photo, but I'm also just changing them as I see fit. Oh, I'll zoom in a little bit. There. For next stream, I have not really decided on what I want to draw, so if anybody has a really cool idea, I'm always open for that. Someone did ask on Instagram if I wanted to draw a Pinhead from Hellraiser, which sounds really cool. I would expect it to be quite difficult though, with all those pins in his head, but I've actually never drawn Pinhead. I've drawn most of the slasher movies, but not Pinny, so might actually be fun to try out. Okay, we have Han Solo, but his striped pants, and I can't remember if they are red or yellow, so I'm going to do a Google search on Han Solo pants. Let's see what we get. Okay, I see red and yellow. Well, let's keep it red. I'm just going to grab this. I'm not sure if you guys can. Oh, you can't see my my Google. There we go. I'm just gonna pick up this red. I'm not even sure if he has this in A New Hope, where this costume is from. Could also be that this stripe is on his Empire Strikes Back costume. I'm not really sure. But that looks cool. At least he has one standout color. Because he looks really muted. That's okay. Alright, that's actually went faster than I expected. Next up, we're going to try Chewie. I'm just gonna get all these flats out of the way so we can get to the fun stuff. Chewie, well, okay, let's try that one. He has, well, he has this fur here. Let's pick a nice, like this. Okay, what I'm gonna do here, because this is his main color, I'm gonna trace the entire image of Chewie with this one color, and then we can pick out all the other spot colors. Because I kind of need to go on the fly on where I'm going to put like all these dark patches. I might even use some gradients with this. Let's just try that out. I have no idea if it's going to be any good. But let's just try it out. Oh, I see one of the ink lines went right through Han Solo's hair, but ah well. I do tend to draw really loose, even in my inks. I do like it that it looks a lot more dynamic if you do that. So here I'm just going to color Chewie. You don't really need to do the whole bowcaster, but my trusty hard drive is. I mean, it's not really that warm anymore, but he still keeps blowing like there's no tomorrow. I have no idea. I hope it's not broken, because it's not that old. But I have been using it quite a lot. So maybe I'll need a replacement soon. So, as someone who's been watching earlier, you might know I have been rewatching all the Halloween movies, and I have yesterday reached the infamous Resurrection movie, and that was, wow, I actually didn't see that one for a long time because it was released in like 2002. I think I saw it on video back then, but not even. I'm not sure. But, oh wow, was it bad. All the technology bits did not age gracefully. No, it's said, like, if you don't know the movie, At the beginning of the movie, you see Michael Myers. He finally gets to kill Laurie Strode, his sister. He kind of gives up killing. He gives his knife to some guy and walks off. And that's like the prologue. And then we go to Coolio or whoever it is, like some rapper who was popular at the time. He is doing a TV show where people will be, they have to spend a night in the old Myers house. Some kids. And, well, what do you know? Michael Myers returns. And, well, Michael looks pretty cool. This mask, everything looks pretty nice, but oh boy, are those characters annoying. And the whole premise is just stupid. Like, there are kids at a party and they're watching everything and they're helping the kids using Blackberries, and oh, it's so bad. And the Coolio guy, or Buster Rhymes, I don't even know who it is. He finally gets to kill Michael Myers. It's really lame. I also really did not like the H2O version that came before that, the 20 Years Later movie. I don't really care for it, but now I will be watching the two Rob Zombie remakes, and I'm looking forward to that. I did like the first one, although it's like, well, you know, it's Rob Zombie. If you are familiar with his work, you know what to expect. And the second one I haven't actually seen, so I have no idea if that's any good. It got pretty bad. Yeah, nobody likes it. I think people are even, like the diehard fans, just try to ignore that movie like it ever existed. So that's really funny. And but the Rob Zombie films are very different, but they're fun. I really like Rob Zombie. I love The Devil's Rejects. I like A House of a Thousand Corpses, and I even like Lords of Salem. It's a weird movie, but I like that. And the new one is coming this year. Just blatantly ignoring all the sequels, even the second one. So, I'm looking forward to see what they're gonna do with it. And hopefully, for me, the slasher genre will make a comeback, which will be great for X-Maniac. So let's hope for that. Well, it's fun rewatching all these old horror movies. Like, they haven't aged at all, but it's fun to just look at them. Chewie has pretty dark eyes, but I'm just going to give them, like, maybe make them a little bit blue, or else it might be really boring. Okay, so I did some details. His head is pretty dark, so I'm just going to make sure it's not too dark. And let's color in. Here I'll most of the time just use a brush, as it goes way faster. As for the slasher movies, I have rewatched, as for research for X-Maniac, I rewatched all the Friday the 13th movies, and now I did all the Halloween movies, so next up would be Nightmare on Elm Street, which are also very fun movies, but I think Freddy is my least favorite slasher hero, anti-hero. I don't know, I like him, but I tend to like the types of Michael Myers and Jason a lot more. Not sure why. Because Freddy looks really cool. going a little bit. I'm just going to try some stuff for my own. I mean, he doesn't really have this color here, but it might make him look more menacing if I do. Also here, he has his mustache. So I'm just going to put a little bit here. And his nose. Let's look at his nose. I like to make it a little bit brighter, just to see how if that works. No, that's weird. Needs to be more grayish. That's a bit better. What if I make the eyes white? Will that be better? A little yellowish? It doesn't have yellow eyes, but I think it will suit his brown fur. Yeah, I like this. Okay, let's see what else he has. He has his whole torso and upper arms are basically the same color as this. So, okay. We'll just make this part. So for the people who are watching, what are your favorite slasher movies or anti-heroes? I mean, there's been a lot of them in the 80s. Most of them are pretty forgettable, but there are some really good ones out there. Even like the newer ones like Trick or Treat. It's also lots of fun. I'm not sure what the main antagonist in that movie is called. He looks really cool with his huge pumpkin head. And then of course you have the actual pumpkin head. Let's see, he has, this is really bright. I think part of his, I can't really see that. I'm going to Google another image of Chewbacca because I don't really know what his lower part looks like. Let's see if we can find that. Also pretty dark. Okay. Okay, what I do see is, yeah, so let's just layer that a little bit. I'll make this part right here dark. Just make sure it's not just the same color everywhere. Here I'm just going to mask known color so I don't get out of the boundaries. Right. It also has a little reddish tint here. Let's see what we can do with that. Let's have a look. It's mainly in his beard. Running Fox says, the wind slashes are scary. Well, they're fun. Of course, you got your jump scares, but it's more like being startled. An actual scary movie should have like the story itself be scary. Like after watching it, it'll haunt you. And jump scares are more like you're startled, in my opinion. But yeah, you go see slasher movies because of the fun kills and the obnoxious teenagers who you just wish would just die on. At least that's what I think about it. I'm just trying out here some gradients just to see if that works a little bit. Oh wait, I'm just going to try his mustache. So also, if you have watched a lot of slasher movies, you really you can see stuff coming from miles away. Like most of them are not really original. They tend to use lots of stuff over and over again because it works. And that's what I actually did with my own comic. I wrote down a lot of those tropes and used them in slightly different ways, hopefully. I print the books. I'm very curious to see what people will think about them. And I hope that people will let me know. Because I certainly would love to draw X-Maniac Part 2, as I think I have a really cool way to continue the story. Let's have a look. Okay, what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to get this whole lower arm. Remove this. And I'm going to see, because this is pretty light over here. Oh, I need to get this picture. This is pretty light. So I'm just going to see what happens if I make a gradient like so. And I'll do the same with this arm. Just to get some variation going. If that, oh wait, I'm doing the wrong color. There we go. And I should also do that around his eyes. So I'm going to select this. It was a lot of fun drawing the Wookiee. It was difficult. I really had to figure out how to stylize the Wookiee for my own art style. It was fun. I really should look more at stuff that I don't draw a lot. So I've been practicing on drawing women because I find them to be really difficult to draw. With women, you need to use as few lines as possible to set something up, and proportions, everything just needs to look just right, or you just see what that doesn't look good. So I've been practicing that a lot, and I think I actually see some improvement, so that's good. Okay, here we just have some base colors for his fur, and it will be, I'm not so sure about this yet. It looks a little dirty, but let's see what happens when I use some shadows and highlights. I might have overdone a little bit, but I can always. It is a lot of hair. It's drawing hair is really difficult. Because you want to draw it in as few strands as possible. But, you know, if you draw Han Solo, you have to draw the Wookiee. Chewie. Let's see. I'm going to give his bowcaster some color, which is easy because it's just the same color all around. But that's okay because his fur is now very busy. So I think it might actually be good that his weapon is just one color. And again, I'm just trying out stuff. I can easily change it if I want. I'm just looking for what works. Usually don't see this step because I'll just be putting a finished drawing online. But almost every drawing has that step where you're figuring out which color goes where. Even with pre-existing characters, which already have a color scheme. You always want to change up just a little bit so it will fit your own style. And I should practice drawing more, coloring more. Usually it's an afterthought. Okay, I made a drawing and okay, I need to color it. Just slap some colors on there and it's done. But it's actually valuable to just put some time and effort into it, which I'm trying to do now. Okay, his bandolier, he also has these cartridges which are also the same color. That's good. As you might see, I'm wearing a very topical shirt for drawing a Han Solo artwork. It's actually just random. I never really look at what shirt I'll be wearing. I just pick one out of the closet. And this happens to be a Star Wars t-shirt, which the chance I'll be wearing a Star Wars t-shirt is pretty big, because I have a lot of them. But this one even has Han Solo and Chewie from the old Marvel comics, which were really silly. I'm not sure if anybody knows about them, but Flying Fox has a question. Do you use the same tool for coloring as for drawing the black lines? No, I do not. I have a brush for inking, which, as you can see in the detail, is really rough. Now you got all these little dots, but if you shrink the picture, the line will be really nice and crisp. For coloring, I use a different brush, which is this. And as you can see, it's really, there's no texture in it. And that's good for coloring because, especially for flats, you just want to have a base color without any texture in it. And it colors nice. It's a nice thick brush so you can easily color. And I got way more brushes, but actually I just used these two. I mean, I'm not sure if you guys can see this, but I got a whole list of brushes I bought and downloaded, but most of this time I just go back to these two brushes as they work best for me. And thank you for the question. We'll give these straps. Oh, that's too bright. Let's go here. Make these straps just a little bit different. Yeah. I'm not really sure if I'm happy with the gradients I made here. So, but let's just keep them in for now. Okay. Okay, so basically here we have the base colors for Han and Chewie. And now I will try to add some shadows. As I already did lots of shadows, I tend to use that. I tend to use like really dark shadows. I'm going easy on the color shadows. But what I'm going to try to do again is make a new layer. And I'm just going to fill that. I'm just going to try his face right here. Where I want shadows, I'm just going to paint that black. That looks a little bit weird maybe. But I'm going to see if I put it on overlay. Oh, that's very bright. That's very bright. That's better. Soft light. And again, I can easily change this. Well, let's just see how this will look with the entire picture. The easy part of this is that I'm basically will be drawing all the shadows with the exact same color, and because I put it on overlay, it blends the shadow layer with whatever is underneath. And that works like a charm. There we go. And I can easily just remove it if I want to. Let's get some highlights going, or some shadows going. I tend to use highlights very sparingly. Highlights work pretty good, like if you have like a metal surface. But if you have like skin or cloth, it gets real shiny real fast, and it just doesn't look right. There we go. And this you can also do with the magic wand tool, but I tend to just use my brush because it goes way faster. So yeah, for my next stream, if there are people who have some cool suggestions, just let me know. I have a Pinhead written down. My own idea was drawing the Doom guy, maybe with one of his enemies, like, oh boy, I really like the Imp, or the Cacao Demon, that big red bull with one eye and a huge mouth. That was fun. Okay, this is the skin, and now let's do some hair. As you can see, I'm still using the exact same color, but because the colored surface underneath is different, it adapts. So this is a really quick and dirty way to color your shadows. And there are many ways, especially in Photoshop. You got so many ways to color, and everybody has their own preference. I'm going to do the same with his shirt, with his nice 70s collar. you're really doing some digital painting, you can actually maybe do layer on layer on layer, different colors. But I don't usually do that. Unless it really suits the art style, but usually I draw stuff like this, and then I'm working to just use a color style like this. It makes it more clearer. I'm very anxious to learn what the next Star Wars movie is going to be. I heard there was going to be a Boba Fett movie and an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie, but I don't really know what they will be doing. Maybe episode 9 or something. They'll probably be next year or something. But I don't know. I did see the new Predator trailer. I don't know. Do we really need another Predator movie? I mean, the first two were great. And then we got Alien versus Predator, which was just plain bad. I think it just was. I watched one of them. I didn't really bother with the sequel, so do we need a new Predator movie? Apparently, because you're making one, but I don't know. Make something new, you know? Create a new IP instead of just rehashing all the old stuff. What do I know? Let's see. We have his shirt. I probably won't be creating more. Well, we could create some shadow on his vest, but not too much, as it's already really black. And I might be doing just like a tiny highlight on this one. Same goes for his pants. Doesn't really need any hard shadows, but we can do his belt, which, oh, that's too dark. Okay, what I will do, I'll create a new layer, and I'll put the opacity at about 50, and let's see what happens now. Okay, this looks better. This is basically the same thing I was doing, but now the layer is transparent. So it's not the full blackness that we're seeing. It's letting more of the other layer shine through. And I'm just going to give that a shadow. Like so. His metal parts here, I will just give a highlight, and the same goes with the boots. So that's the shadow for Han. Now we're going to do Chewie. I'm going back to my original shadow layer, and I'm just going to see what happens when I add some shadows to him. Oh, I see I missed something here. I'm just going to fix that. There we go. Back to black. I'll keep it in the dark areas for now. So yeah, for drawing and coloring, I don't really use like a lot of different stuff. I have my drawing brush, I have my coloring brush, I have a really old Wacom. It is a Intuos, so it's a really good one, but it's not a fancy one with a screen. And I don't really use I might use some textures, but that's usually just to get a color difference. I don't really like having really loud textures in my artwork. And well, that what works for me. Okay, I actually see that the whole gradient thing is not really necessary. If I'm going to remove the original gradient I made here, because I see if I just give it some shadow, I will get the same effect, and it won't look as, I don't know, gradients, I always find them to look a little bit dirty for some reason. I don't really like them. So if I do this, I'll get the same effect. And that's what's handy about drawing in Photoshop. Welcome, Praise Voltar. Thank you for joining. Praise Voltar has actually seen the movie. I still have not, but I'm sure I'll watch it when it comes to Netflix. I'm just not such a big fan of the cinema. More like the cinema going experience, basically. There, now we get the same effect, more or less. We'll do his little beard like this, and we'll just bring back some highlights by just removing the layer. There we go. Oh, Praise Volta, you might have missed this, but the money came in from Kickstarter. So I've placed the order. I just need to upload all the files to the printer, and then I'll be getting the books in a week. So that's, yeah, I'm really close to getting my own printed book. I'm really happy about that. I'll be sending these. I think I'll need to do like 65 packages, so the local post office will not be happy when I arrive with my huge bundle of stuff I need to send all over the world, actually. Stuff needs to go to New Zealand, a lot needs to go to the US, lots need to go to England, one even goes to Israel, and I think one goes to Australia. I'm not really sure about that one. In Sweden, so a lot of people are getting their books. So what do you guys think about it so far? Is it starting to look good? Because I see there is a color difference on my laptop, so I'm not really sure if it might be my laptop or it might be the software I'm using to stream. I don't really know. Oh yes, running Fox is very exciting. It's going to be a chore though because I also bought um, envelopes with my logo on it to make it look extra professional, and I'll need to make all these packages. Plus, I included a sketch card in the comic and asked people if they want like a doodle or a signature in that. So for those 65 comics I need to, which I'll be sending, I also need to make a small doodle in practically each and every one of them. So it's going to be a fun Saturday of me doodling in comics. I got some really fun requests as well, so I'm actually looking forward to do that. But still, it's going to be a chore. Well, thank you, Praise Voltar. Well, I can still package it for you, Praise Voltar, don't worry. But I'll just hand it to you in person. No problem. Because I also have lots of stuff left over from my other comic. I got all these cool stuff, so I'll just be doing I'll be placing some random goodies inside the packages just to make it fun. And I have that stuff lying around anyway, so I better just if I can make some people happy with that, all the better. Oh. No problem. I was actually wondering, like, who's Voltar anyway? I know Voltron is the old combiner robot with all the animals, but I don't know who Voltar is. Is it part of that show or something? Or I could look it up, but I'm too busy coloring, so just let me know. Oh, wait, ooh, that one. Oh. Well, we're getting a lot of different colors in Chewie's fur, but I think it looks pretty interesting. And with the bowcaster being just one color, it won't be a mess, I think. I'm just going to make like a highlight on the bowcaster after I'm done with the Wookiee. Ancient LARP character of mine. Found out later is also a G.I. Joe villain. Oh man. I used to love G.I. Joe, but I have no idea who the villains were except Cobra Commander. And I believe you had Destro, which I don't know what he was. He had like a metal head, or it was a mask or a helmet, or it was his actual face. I have no idea. But Voltar and G.I. Joe, no idea. It's cool though, I like the name. Look at all those gradients, or those color changes. I think the dark brown really suits Chewie's fur actually, so I'm happy with this. There we go. One Chewie and one Han Solo in shadow. As you can see, this is for this one. All right, let's do some highlighting. I'm just going to try out the same stuff by using the same type of layer and with white. Let's just see what happens. I have no idea. Oh, I'm already liking this. Yeah. I'll just go over all the metal parts and then I'll just make one extra pass over it to get it even more brighter. Just a bit. I use my highlights sparingly, especially when you have some metal objects in your drawing. If you're highlighting everything, it will lose its focus, really. Okay. Oh, I'm forgetting his cartridges here. Although they are underneath his arms, I'm just going to give them like a little highlight, just because it will be really boring. Like so. I'm going to do another pass. I'm just trying. Look, then it gets completely white. That's good. I'm not going to leave it bright as it is, but I'm just going to pick out some highlights here. And just drop the opacity just a little bit. So we'll blend in more with the artwork, or with the layer underneath. Now we'll just be doing this on all the metal parts. Like so. And there we go. I did want to put one highlight on Chewie's lip. And his nose. As he is a dog, I'm sure his nose is pretty wet. And there we have it. Let's have a look. What else can we do? I would like to have a Star Warsy background. I'm just going to Google something. See if I can find something. If you look into the Imperial most of the Imperial interiors have these really cool lights, which are these elongated, round-edged banners. Can I do something with that? Like what I'm trying. Oh, no, wait. I'm trying to talk about is this stuff like this. Can I do something with that? Okay, I'm just going to try to make like a quick and dirty background. So I do like to have like a circle background for this type of stuff. And I'm going to make it this color. Then I'm going to make these lights with the rounded rectangle tool. Let's see what I can. It needs more of a curve, so let's say 80 pixels. Looks a little bit better. Yeah, okay. So what I'm going to do, I should have two of these long banners. I'll make them a little bit smaller, like so. And I need to be up. And then we have like a whole row of tiny ones. So I'm going to make him oh no, wait. I'll just make a new object. Maybe this size might do. And now we need a lot of them, which I can easily do, of course, as I'm working in Photoshop. Okay, I kind of need to remove Han and Chewie here, just to see what I'm doing. Okay. Oh, and now we need another row of two long ones, and then we have something like this. I'm just going to take this, copy the whole thing, and place it here. And okay, kind of take another one and place it about here. And now we can get Han and Chewie back. Save, very important. Keep forgetting that. I should know better by now, but okay. I want to put a gradient in there. Get this color, make it darker. I will be making a radial thing coming from the center. Just to get that Imperial interior look. And because these are lights, I'm going to give them a little glow. Let's see if we can make something cool with that. Just a bit. Basically giving them a little blur, but because they're lights, it fits. So I'm going to put this one effect on all the objects. And there we go. A lot of it is hidden behind the characters, but it's just to give an illusion of a background. Maybe I can scooch over. This is this part. Where where does the next one begin? Here. There we go, and now I can also just, which will be great for Instagram, because Instagram uses square images, so this is actually really nice format for Instagram, which is great. We do have like the smoke coming out of the gun. Let's see what we can do with that. Let's have a look. I'm gonna try is I'll make a shape similar to the smoke. Doesn't have to really fit it, because I will be removing the line art. Then the smoke, yeah, well, it's a little grayish. Doesn't have to be too dark. Like so. Now I'll remove the line art with a mask, so I won't be deleting the actual line art, I'll just be masking it away, which is always a good tip. Never do anything destructively, always mask stuff. You never know if you still want to use it. Where is the, here's the smoke. Okay. I'll be placing this layer over the line art. And I'm making it a little transparent. Make sure that it comes out of the barrel. And there we go. Han and Chewie. There's another thing I usually like to do, but I'm not sure if I will be able to find it. Because I have this huge folder full of, oh wait, here it is. Ha. I have this huge folder full of textures and stuff. And I'm not going to try one. I really like the color of this one. Let's just see what happens if I do this. And just subtly make it a little bit warmer, but it doesn't always work though. It does change the tone a little bit, but it's always fun to just try out some stuff. Put a cooling filter over there to make it be more bluish, which fits the imperial setting. So there we have it. Thank you, Running Fox and Praise Walter. Yes, I think I'm going to leave it at this. I'm pretty happy with it. As usual, I will be putting my stuff on Instagram tomorrow, and the stream will also be put on YouTube tomorrow, and I'll make a time lapse of me coloring both characters. I'm not sure if that's as interesting as a drawing time lapse, but we'll just try it out, see what happens. And for next week, if you have any cool ideas, let me know on Instagram or on Twitch if possible. I have no idea if you can leave messages on Twitch. Yeah, let me know what you want to see. I have some ideas, but I'm always open for cool suggestions. So thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a great night. So I'll be signing off. Thanks everybody for watching. Goodbye.